And we're back. Welcome back to the Auto Authorities. My name is Jay, coming to you live. Holy cow, do we have a show for you today? The car market is crashing. Yes, you heard me correctly. It is crashing, and there are ways that you can take advantage of this. And we're ready to do this right now.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride while buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay, and this is the podcast to tell you what to watch out for, whether you are buying, selling, or repairing your car. With over 26 years of automotive experience, we are the Auto Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by iAutoAgent.com. We're real estate agents for cars.
Boom, booyah. Welcome back to the Auto Authorities. My name's Jay, coming to you live. We're going to be talking about how the car market is crashing. I'm even going to let you know how you can take advantage of this. I'm going to let you know why this is happening. And I'm going to tell you about some recession-proof cars that you could potentially purchase, and maybe you even own them right now. But before we do that, I want to thank our sponsor, iAutoAgent.com. That's I like integrity, autoagent.com. They are real estate agents for people's cars. When you want to sell your car and you don't want to meet strange people in strange places, they will do it all for you. They will market, they will list, they will show your car at no cost to you. That is right. And when you're ready for your dream car, whether you're an individual or you're a business looking for help to buy your fleet, we will go buy your perfect car for you. We will find it. We will ensure its reliability. We will make sure that you get the best deal. We'll even schedule all the test drives at the dealer. And you don't even have to go to the dealer until you approve the deal. Now, if you are just joining this, we are on multiple channels. We are on 19 different channels, and we are not just nationwide, we are worldwide here at the Auto Authorities, coming to you live, raw and uncut. This is raw and uncut. This is not edited. I do this to help you. And we are live on Tuesdays on our Facebook group page. It's called the Auto Authorities Facebook group page. And we're live at 12 p.m. Central Time. You can join our group, and we even have like a really cool, like a family like atmosphere. So any questions you have car related, that's a great place to join. And also, if you just still want to watch, but you can't watch live, go to our YouTube page, The Auto Authorities. It's The Auto Authorities. You click the subscribe button and the notification button in the right-hand corner, and it will notify you for all the wonderful podcasts. And finally, if you want to just listen to us on the way to a beautiful drive to your work, go to theautoauthorities.com. That's theautoauthorities.com. You can pull up iTunes, Pandora, Google Podcasts. There's 19 different channels we're on, and you can download those. Leave us a review. We want to hear what your thoughts are. And when you go to theautoauthorities.com, you can leave us a message. You can ask us questions. You can even give us some challenges that you're facing right now, and we'll help you. We will answer. I will personally answer those questions for you. And coming up in the next few weeks, we have a huge surprise, a big, big change to the Auto Authorities podcast. I won't tell you what it is right now. You'll have to watch, but there's some exciting things happening right now. So let's really just get into this. And I want to start with new cars first, because new cars has been the most difficult thing for us to get for the last couple of years, right? Some of us have to order these cars. Some of us have to wait 3 to 4 months. Some of us have to wait a year to get these cars. And there's still many of these cars that are really, really hard to get. And I'm going to share something with you that you may not know. So I'm going to talk about the ones that are really, really hard to get, and that's Honda and Toyota. Now, I have a theory. Now, this doesn't mean that my Theory is always correct. And many of these things are my opinions, and some of these things are facts. This is my opinion. My opinion is I think Toyota and Honda are purposely holding back their cars. I really, really do. And what they're holding back are the cars that are lower profit margins. So like Honda Civics and Honda Accords. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the Honda Pilots and the Ridge lines and the more expensive SUVs, potentially CRVs as well, because there's more margin in those cars. The manufacturers make more money when they sell those cars. So here are my thoughts. I think that we're going to see this for a while. Because if you wanted to, so I'll give you an example. One of my really, really good friends, Joe, he comes to me and he's like, hey, I'm looking for a used Civic. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I've been looking at them and they're like pretty close to what a new one costs. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. And he's like, I went to a new car dealership and they didn't have any. I'm like, yeah, keep going. You're right on the money. And then I asked the salesperson, I'm like, when can I get one of these things? And they're like, well, we don't really know, but we can order it for you. What Honda's doing is, and I'm going to give another story. Back in 2005, when me and my wife, we wanted to buy a Honda Odyssey, we had to order that car. There was a test driver that was at the dealership. We drove it, and we had to wait several months to get it. And we had to pay sticker price for it. I think that Toyota and Honda are actually doing that again, where you can't get these cars unless they're the expensive cars where they can make their money. So they'll make more production for the expensive cars because they're making more margins. So if you're looking for a Honda Civic or you're looking for a Honda Accord, you're not going to be able to find those typically just by driving up to a dealership and being able to buy one, because they are holding back those cars. Now, let's talk about what they are building. So I talked about they're buying expensive cars, and I'm going to tell you a few facts to start with. A few facts are full-size trucks are going to be easy to get. Full-size SUVs, easy to get. Why is that? Well, the reason why is because these are $60,000, $70,000 for a pickup truck. And if you want to talk about the really big SUVs, like I'll just give you a perfect example, the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. You're talking over $100,000. Now, if we're doing payments on these, then it's going to be really, really, really expensive. So we had a client come to us through our vehicle finder program, where we help people buy vehicles nationwide at iautoagent.com. And they're like, they have a vehicle that they want to trade in. It's a 2022 Wagoneer. I kid you not. And they want to trade it because they're having all kinds of software issues with it. The screen just magically stops working. So this might be some very good golden nuggets for you if you're thinking about buying one of these cars. You have to realize, and if you've been listening to my podcast for a long time, I tell you, don't ever buy the first year that the cars come out. You become the laboratory test rat. Yes, that's right. When they build these cars, they want to see, hey, wonder what little quirks are wrong with this thing. Yeah. So now they're having all these software issues. They're considering going to a 2023 Jeep Wagoneer. And I've got some news for you, and this might be very surprising when I say their vehicle is worth low 60s, and it's $60,000 vehicle, low 60s. And they want to have a lower payment than what they have now. There is no way that that will ever happen. They're about $10,000 to $12,000 out of equity on that vehicle. And frankly, at iAuto Agent, we don't even want to sell that vehicle because we know all the problems that they've had. So when we go to the dealers and they're looking to buy them, low 60s. It's insane. They owe 10 to 12,000 more than that. And then they want to have a lower payment. It doesn't exist. And then they were considering going into like a Lincoln, the Lincoln Navigator, the larger one. They were interested in that vehicle too. And they have all kinds of problems on those as well. So be careful. It is a great opportunity though, is if you did want a pickup truck and you know that you're going to be buying one, you can get huge discounts and incentives. Our agents are heavily connected with these dealerships and they absolutely want these things to go. So do me a favor. The next time that you drive by a dealership, if it's a Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler dealership, guess what's going to be in front of that dealership? Guess. That's right. Jeep Grand Wagoneers and then the Jeep Gladiators. They cannot sell those vehicles. So if you're looking for a deal, those would be the ones to go for. And they also have huge incentives on them. You can get 0.9% financing on those vehicles as well. So and as the market is tanking, and we're going to talk about why that's happening here in a little bit, but as that market's tanking, take advantage of it. Now, I will tell you, don't plan on hopping out of that thing in the next 2 to 3 years, because when they figure values for those cars, that will be taken into an account, like the huge discounts that were given on those cars, and I'm saying trucks, when you bought them. So the next piece is anything on used cars is dropping really, really hard right now. The market is dropping hard, except for a few vehicles. Now, let's talk about the things that are sitting right now. The things that are sitting right now on used cars is anything above $25,000. When people want to buy used cars or new cars, at the end of the day, they're wanting to buy on a payment. They may say, I want a $25,000 car. Well, not that long ago, a $25,000 car over 5 years was probably $470, $475 a month because interest rates were really, really low. Now, if you're going for a $25,000 car, and depending on where you live and depending on your credit, you could be looking at $550 to $600 a month. And that's a 5-year loan. And that's what most people take. So when you're going out and you're looking at these cars, that's about the payment. Now, if people want to be at $350 a month, you're going to need to be at about a $15,000 to $17,000 car tops over 5 years, or financing $15,000 to $17,000 rather. So if you are just joining us, we are talking about the market is crashing. The car market is crashing, but there's a few caveats. And what I'm sharing with you is that you can also take advantage of this. This could be a positive for you. And what I would love to hear is any type of questions that you have. So if you have questions and you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook or you're on iTunes, or you're simply on our website, I'm sorry, theautoauthorities.com. That's theautoauthorities.com. Leave us questions. Give us some stories. What has been your experience? If you just bought a vehicle, I would love to hear, what did you buy? How much, like, were you able to buy it right off the lot? Did you have to order it? What kind of car was it? Let's help our community understand what's going on in this market. Hence the reason why I do what I do. And then our team at iautoagent.com, we're here to help you sell your car. We're here to help you buy a car nationwide in our vehicle finder program, and we're here to make things easier for you. And what we're doing is we're talking about used cars right now. We've been talking about the ones that are more expensive at $25,000 and above. But what people are looking for is they're looking for a $350 to $400 a month payment. So if you're going to go for that $350 a month payment, you're going to need something between $15,000 to $17,000. You're going to see people, number one, holding on to their cars and not selling them because they're too expensive to go replace. And you're going to see people not moving towards SUVs, big trucks, expensive vehicles, luxury vehicles. Luxury vehicles are getting hit really, really hard right now because it's too expensive for people. And let's talk about the facts. There's tons of repos hitting the market right now. Now, I'm going to share with you the vehicles. If you are looking at a used vehicle, if you were listening earlier, if you're looking for like a newer Toyota Corolla or a newer Honda Civic, I don't care what it is, that is a recession-proof vehicle. And what a recession-proof vehicle is they hold their values so well, they always have. And what a recession-proof vehicle is something in the neighborhood of definitely under $10,000 is 100% of recession-proof vehicles, as long as it doesn't have 200,000 miles, okay? Let's be realistic. And then under $20,000 SUVs. If you've got one of those and it doesn't have a lot of miles on it, and you're thinking about getting another vehicle, you'll get top dollar for it right now. And frankly, there's not going to be a lot of variance in those cars. It's a lot like a house. If you're a real estate agent or if you know real estate agents, they'll tell you, and we're here in St. Louis, Missouri, stationed here. But if you're looking, say, for a $250,000 house, you're going to have people lined up around that house, like wanting to buy that, and they're willing to pay more money than even the asking price. But if you have a $700,000-$800,000 house, $1 million house, that thing is going to be sitting, and it's a very expensive paperweight. It's the same thing in the car business. So I want to tell you some stories because I love story time, and I know you do too. I'm going to tell you a story about two clients. They came to us, and their mom needed a vehicle, and these actually happen to be very dear friends of mine, and they wanted a $200 a month payment. Right. And that's the old payment that everybody really would love to have. That $200 is a magical payment that doesn't exist anymore, by the way. It doesn't exist unless it has a gazillion miles on it. And to be $200 a month, you actually have to be sub $10,000, probably somewhere in the $9,000 price range now. And you have to be able to find a loan that will go over 5 years. When we talk about banks and the repos that they have had to deal with, the reason being for this is our lovely government printed a whole lot of money for everybody. They gave all kinds of money to people back in the pandemic days. And certain people went out to buy certain vehicles. And now They can't afford those vehicles because they never could afford them anyway. And the banks, just like in 2008, were lending money to people that they shouldn't have been lending money to. So hence we have all these repossessions now. And a repossession is when a bank takes back that vehicle. And typically when a bank takes back that vehicle, they're in a good position, meaning they own the vehicle for less than what it's worth. But in a market like this right now, where the market is dropping and it's collapsing, the banks are in a very, very bad position right now. They owe more money on the vehicles when they're than what they're worth. They're even coming to iAuto Agent saying, "Hey, can you help us sell this vehicle? We don't want to go to the dealer and we don't want to like take it to the auction because we know we're going to get hosed on this and we're already going to lose money. And we're already doing it for credit unions. We are selling vehicles for credit unions right now. And we have just had a super success story with one of the main credit unions that we use here in St. Louis, selling those repossessions. So going back to payments, the recession-proof cars are, if you have an under $10,000 car, call iAutoAgent.com. We'd love to help you sell it. And if you have an under $20,000 SUV, you're in a very, very good position right now. And it's not going to vary. So going back to the story, we had these great people and they're like, we want $200 a month payment. I'm like, it doesn't exist. We happen to find them a vehicle. We're waiting on the title to come in, but we were able to find it, a 15 Altima. It's going to go for $12,997. And it's probably going to be mid twos and it's going to be right there in that sweet spot. So those are the recession proof cars. Those are the cars that are not going to drop. They have already hit bottom. And whether you sell them today or you sell them next month or you sell them next year, it's really not going to make that much of a difference. So let's talk about why this is happening. The banks are collapsing, folks. And banks collapse when they can't make money. It's just like any other business. When you don't make money, you collapse. And again, they kept lending money to people that shouldn't have bought vehicles. So now everything's tightening up. So when you go buy a vehicle right now, if you don't have absolute perfect credit, be prepared. Things are not going to be easy to get a loan right now. And we've been helping, like at iAuto Agent, we help people get loans all the time, but the guidelines are tightening up because once these banks get burned, they're going to make sure that you have lots of money down when you're buying that next vehicle, because now these people that got in with no money down and they had marginal credit, they're like, yeah, we'll just give them a loan. We'll just give them a loan. They're piling up and there's thousands of these repos. And there's a lot of dealers that have been hanging on to cars that because of the market dropped so much and they got in at such high prices and they thought that they could just wait this thing out. Well, now they're seeing that they can't get out of these cars. And most dealers have what you call a floor plan, which is like a line of credit. When you go buy like anything, you can have a line of credit. Well, they use a line of credit to buy cars. Well, there's an interest rate tied to that. And there's even banks right now getting out, like even Capital One, they are not offering floor plans or lines of credit to dealers anymore to buy vehicles. They're done with it. And because of this free money that was given out in the pandemic days, this is why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. And I would love to hear, again, like any comments or questions that you have. Like, we want to see comments. We want to get involved with you. I will personally answer any question that you ask, any comments, tell us stories. Let's help our community, because the crap that we listen to in the media is mostly crap. These are real stories. This is real inside information. This is not the crap that you read in the media that's sensationalized and blah, blah, blah. Because half the time that you get the stuff in the media, it is outdated. It is outdated already. And if you were paying attention, the Fed just raised the rate another quarter of a point uh, a couple days ago. So now the Fed's fund raised the rates. It's going to get harder and harder for people to afford cars. And that is why we are talking today. That is why the market is crashing. That is why the average payment now for people is somewhere like $800 to $1,000 a month. Like, that's insane. So if you have one of the recession-proof cars, give us a call at iautoagent.com. We'd love to help you with that. And what we talked about today is the market's crashing, but again, there was caveats, right? The new cars are crashing now, but some of the caveats are Toyota and Honda and some of the smaller cars. We talked about that. We also talked about the bigger SUVs and the pickup trucks like Rams and F-150s and Silverados and Jeep Grand Wagoneers. Those cars are sitting. There's huge incentives and huge discounts. We talked about how anything above $25,000 is sitting on used car lots right now. Luxury cars are absolutely getting hammered. There's tons of repos hitting the market right now. We talked about recession-proof cars, which are $200, $250 a month payments. That is not going to change. If you have an under $10,000 car, give us a call at iautoagent.com. We'll help you sell it. If you have an under $20,000 SUV, give us a call. We'll help you sell it. Those are the cars that are not going to vary. And why is this happening? It's because the banks are collapsing. The banks are collapsing. The repos are coming. The Fed just raised the rate again. It will be very, very interesting to see what happens come the next few months to a year. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show today and they got a lot out of it. Again, please leave comments, leave questions, go on our Facebook group page, join the Facebook group page, go on our Auto Authorities YouTube page and click subscribe and notify for all our podcasts, and go to the autoauthorities.com and download the iTunes and Pandora, Google Podcasts, all of those, iHeartRadio. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody joining us today. Again, I hope you learned a lot. I will see you on the next episode. And I want to just say